Hello, everyone. I've missed a lot of days on March. I've been busy with different things, and you know. So, um, the next question for today is a design underground system. I've kind of briefly already kind of skimmed through it, and these are pretty interesting because these are more of the system design questions that you would get in an interview. They're more representative of what you'll do on the job on a day-to-day basis, right? You're gonna like implement these classes. And this in particular is actually trying to simulate some kind of database querying system, which is pretty standard, if you're in the web development area, application development. So these questions are pretty cool. They're not like your usual competitive programming math questions, puzzle solving questions, and that's what makes them interesting. So here we're supposed to just implement these according to the requirements. So check in and check out, average time. This would be a very hard question if we have to do a bunch of error checking and all of that. But since the description says the check-ins and checkout methods are all consistent, as well as when you're getting average is always valid, then you can assume that all of those are correct, which lessens the amount of code that we have to write, I think, for this one. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need some kind of ability to keep track of customers inside at the moment. And that's going to store the current people that have checked in. And then the database. Database is just going to be a multi-dimensional array, because it's just going to be an in-memory database, and you'll see how that is implemented. Now you could just keep track of every single station checkouts and station check-ins, and then every time you get the average, you just iterate through every single items in the database and calculate the average times, which is fine, but it's not going to be efficient. It's not going to be fast. So what I'm going to do, since I know for sure that checkouts are always valid, then I know that there has to have been a check-in at that point. And that's when I do the pre-process the average time currently already. And then once I call get average time, all I have to do is find it in the database and return it. So that's the plan. So let's see, if ID in customers, or not in customers in, then I go ahead and add it, customers in ID equals station name T, and I'm going to assume that's always going to be valid, so I'm not going to overwrite any IDs, customers. There's no such thing as check in for an ID and then check in again without checking out first. So I'm going to assume that's always valid, and then what I need to do is in self.customers in, then what I need to do is get the time they checked in, right? So station, start station, and then start time is self.customers in ID. And then once we do that, we're going to need to delete at some point. And then what happens is that every time we check out, we know that's an entry in the database. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if ID and self.database, not ID, station name, By the way, database should be a dictionary, not an array. So station name, no, start station. I want to know the start first. I want to make the key the start station in self.database. If I know it exists, then that a person has with this ID have already checked in the past. And then if it has already ended at some point, so station name in self.database, start station, and then I know that this person has checked in, checked out once before, and then it has checked in again, and now it's about to check out. So we want to count those. So their current average time is encoded here, and then their current count is also encoded here in the database. Start station, station name, and then what we want to do is we want to take that average time and increment it with the current average. So the way you'd increment this is, if this is a pretty popular equation. I think I learned this in a statistics class, where in order to increment an average mean, you add it with the n+1 item minus the mean divided by n+1. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to add this. So it's the n+1 item is the current time that has passed, and then you subtract it with the current mean, divide that by count plus 1, the new n+1, and that would be the average new mean. And then let's go ahead and just update that. Start station name has been updated to average time and count plus 1. So alright, so if this is the case, then we know for sure that they've only ever checked in once, and this is their first time checking out, and so this is their first entry. So this is very easy. We just go database, start station, station name is equal to the time, the very first entry, and there's only one. Now if there is no starts, oh actually this will never be the case, because there are always, oh actually no, if there was wait, is there ever going to be a case where the start station is I think this one might never happen, but it doesn't matter. Let's just put it there. Self.database start station name, or no, because that doesn't exist yet at this point. So that's just going to be a dictionary, and then self.database start station name equals the current item and 1. And then when you get the average, you simply just say, hey, I'm just gonna get that, find that in the database, start station end station, the first item is the average. So underground system, customers ID, customers in, customers in. Looks good. All right, let's see. Yep. So yeah, and that would be pretty efficient because it would be the same amount of calls you give checkout is the amount, the running time, so it would just be linear. You could do it in n squared, and I think that would be fine as well. But yeah, it's not too bad. All right, so that'll be it. Next time.